My first shiny was back in my Pokemon Crystal days. I didn't really know much about shinies at all I knew about was the red Gyarados, but my first shiny that was legitimate was a shiny Golbat that I found in a cave. Unfortunately though, I did not know that Golbat evolved through love, so it took about until level 74 until I finally got a shiny Crobat, but yeah, that was my first one, a shiny Golbat.
So what was my first ever shiny that I encountered? Well, I've never really encountered a shiny before I did Omicron. So I've had terrible luck finding shinies, I swear to God in my life. But lo and behold, you know, I find a shiny playing Omicron. I'm just sitting there running around, grinding for a possible gym battle. And I'm just like, okay, la da 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 da. Freaking wild battle comes up, and it happens to be a shiny Cyndaquil. And I was just like, yo, shiny Cyndaquil, it's a great Pokemon. It was level 22, and I was like, I could really use this. Shiny Claws is in effect because it's a randomizer Nuzlocke, and I was like, man, I gotta catch this thing. And if you guys didn't see it, it was already on Twitter, and you guys probably saw it. You guys probably know some of the story then already, but for those who don't, I was like, I'm throwing out my weakest Pokemon. At the time, it was a Dodrio. So I threw it out there, thinking like, okay, I got some pretty crappy attacks with this thing. I got quick attack of all moves, like really weak. Thinking that, okay, it's not gonna kill it, maybe. So I throw it out there. Use a quick attack, and it one hit KOs the Cyndaquil. I cried so badly. I couldn't bear myself to even look in the mirror, because I just killed my first ever shiny that I've ever encountered. And I felt so bad, and it's Elliot's favorite Pokemon, and it's Tiamat's favorite Pokemon. And I couldn't do it. I felt so bad. And I was like, what are the chances that another shiny is going to pop up in this game? You know? So that was my first ever shiny, a shiny Cyndaquil that I found in the wild, and I killed it. Go ahead, laugh.
Alright, so thinking back to my first ever shiny encounter, funny enough, it actually wasn't the shiny Gyarados in 2nd gen and remakes. It was actually in Route 1. Now, I know you guys are thinking, well, that must have surely been a pretty shitty experience, but I can tell you now, it's something I will be holding with me to the grave. Put yourself in my position. Imagine being 8 years old with your copy of Pokemon Fire Red and your trusty Charmander that you've just got. Now imagine leaving Professor Oak's lab after just smashing your rival and walking into Route 1, and the first Pokemon you encounter is this glorious shiny gold Pidgey. And to be honest, the 8-year-old me didn't know whether to scream with excitement, cry with happiness, or just go into full retard mode. Because in all honesty, I'd never seen a shiny before, and all I could imagine right then was a level 100 shiny Pidgeot. I just actually imagined the amount of gloating I could do to my friends that also play Pokemon, and in all honesty, I was panicking. I didn't know what to do. I've never been in this situation before, so obviously I kind of thought about it to start off with, and then I was like, do you know what, fuck it, I'm going to catch this thing. I am going to catch this motherfucking gold Pidgey. So what I did was I got my Charmander, right, my level 6 Charmander, as I just beat my rival, and I was kind of pretty nervous because I was scared I was going to KO it, so I went for the tackle, and it did 1/3 of its HP, and then I was like, do I throw the Pokeball now? Or do I tackle again? So I took the risk and tackled again, and I crossed my fingers. I sat at the bottom of my actual stairs in my house, crossing my fingers, hoping I didn't KO. And actually, I didn't KO, and I was like, oh my god, I can so easily catch this. So there I am, 8 years old, first ever shiny Pokemon. I go ahead, click bag, slowly scroll along to my Pokeball section in my bag, and there I was with no Pokeballs. My face just instantly dropped, my smile deflated. I was like a pop balloon. I was crushed. I mean, thinking about it now just makes me angry. I mean, I'm staring at an image of a shiny Pidgey right now, and I just want to break down. Oh my god. But I swear to god, one day I will find a shiny Pidgey and have that shiny Pidgey up. So guys, that is pretty much my experience of ever encountering a shiny Pokemon.
How's it going? It's TheDarkSylveon here, and the first shiny I ever encountered that wasn't hacked in Wi-Fi via Pokegen was actually in Pokemon X and Y. It was when I first got into Wi-Fi battling and I first got into breeding. I spent ages trying to breed my mascot, Sylveon, well obviously into an Eevee, and my 6th egg from the Masuda method, where I had a Japanese 6 IV Ditto, was actually a Sylveon, a shiny Eevee. and I was so happy that it was like a shiny. I was like, is this real? Is this real? I ended up posting it all over Twitter and all over my Facebook. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, shiny Eevee. And yes, I instantly made it become a Sylveon, and I've still got it to this day, and I use it from time to time in battles. I don't use it as much because it's not the exact moveset I wanted it to be, because it didn't have the necessary egg moves. That was before I even learned about egg moves, so that's really the first shiny I encountered. I haven't encountered any in the wilds, in horde battles, even in like any generation. I mean, I've obviously had well, not hatch, but you know, like Pokégen Pokemon in like Univert region and Sinnoh region, but other than that, I didn't really have any shiny Pokemon. And the fact that I got this shiny Sylveon, which I bred myself, was so gratifying for me, and my brother loves it. He's got it now on his DS, and whenever I need it, I just take it. And yeah, that was the first shiny I ever encountered.
My first shiny, I believe when I was a little kid, I was playing Pokemon Gold and Silver, and I got to the first part where you fish, and that was the route that had a Mareep in it. And I didn't know at the time, but I'm pretty sure that it was a shiny Mareep. It was back when Game Boy didn't even have color on it, believe it or not. I had a regular Game Boy, I was using that, and all of a sudden the screen went black, and I'm like, oh my god, what's wrong with my game? And then the Pokemon came up, and that was the only way you could tell it was a shiny. It was Pokemon Gold and Silver, remember? And I believe that was my first shiny. Either that or the color on my Game Boy was screwed up. But it was a Mareep, and I loved Mareep. As soon as I found it, as soon as I saw it, even though it wasn't shiny to me at the time, I actually shut my game off because I was scared. I thought something was wrong with my game. Other than that, I do believe I had a hacked, messed up copy of Pokemon Leaf Green version, and I woke up at like 3:30 in the morning, and I just decided to turn on my my Game Boy and play for a minute because I couldn't sleep. And the first Pokemon that I ran into in the Safari Zone was a Paris. And I caught that thing. I was so lucky. I was so happy. And then the game got erased because it was a Japanese knockoff version of the game. So yeah, those were the first two shinies that I really remember. Other notables include I found a shiny Voltorb or Electrode in the power plant. Turned my game on. I was saved right in front of one. Caught it. And then I just caught a couple of shinies in the 6th generation. So it was pretty cool.
Yo, what is up Pokemon Fab 5? My name is Pokemon Great Britain, and today I'm going to be telling you about my first shiny experience. Now, when I was younger, me and my brother shared a Pokemon Leaf Green copy. We had all the other Pokemon games, but we always shared them because our parents didn't want to buy us 2 copies of each game. So we were sharing a Leaf Green copy. Now my brother was just playing through it at some point, must have been going through Mount Moon or something, and ran into a shiny Zubat. So it's a green Zubat, shows up. We've never seen a shiny before, we've never even read about it because we weren't using the internet at that point. So we were running into this green Zubat. We think something's glitched, and we just try to run away from it, not knowing it was a shiny, and you know, not finding out until many years later. That was my first ever shiny experience. Now, I didn't catch it at all, but it still had a significant impact on me, because when I actually found out, I was severely disappointed. When I actually found out it was a shiny, I was just blown away, because I'd run into this thing that was super rare, and I just run away from it because I didn't know what it was. I mean, I should have at least tried to catch it because it was different, surely that would go through my head. But actually, my first ever catching a shiny, my first ever time catching a shiny was actually an X and Y, which I'm quite disappointed by. And you know, it didn't actually feel that good because I did know the chance of finding a shiny had significantly been increased in that game, so it didn't have the same effect. So that first Zubat was really the first shiny I ever found. Thanks guys. PGB signing out.
My first shiny of memory came this generation in Gen 6. I've had previous ones, but I played for so long and I never really remembered. It wasn't that memorable to me because I just didn't really think about it. I probably got one and didn't realize, or something along the line. I didn't know that you could get shinies, except for the red Gyarados. I thought that was the only one up until Gen 5. Probably. But then again, I never really looked into it much. I was breeding, and it was one of the first 10 eggs I bred in Pokemon X and Y. It was a shiny Houndour. And if you know what a Houndour looks like, it's its skin or its color is black,
and it's a navy blue, the shiny form. So it took me a while to realize, but that was my first shiny of this generation, one of my first eggs. And then it took me about another 3,000 eggs, probably about 500 eggs for me to get another shiny. So that's my story.
Alright guys, so my first shiny Pokemon I encountered, the first one that I captured for that matter, was in Pokemon Diamond. One of the first times I actually did play it, maybe even the first time, I'm not too sure. But it was a Girafarig. Yes, it was pretty random actually. It was above Valor Lakefront, and I was just playing, just running around. You know, one of those times, you know, your max repel just runs out, and you're just running around, and you're like, oh, I can make it through that patch of grass. And wait a second, this Girafarig, if I'm not mistaken, Girafarig doesn't have that little tint of blue on its nose and on its back and everything. And I caught it, and I found out, holy shit, shiny Pokemon exist. And that was really cool, really awesome. And I found out that they were super duper rare, or at least, you know, 4th gym it was rare, you know, 6th gen you can get them a little bit easier. But, you know, that was my first encounter. It's gone right now because, you know, my save file's gone. But it was a cool encounter. It was exciting to capture and find out what a shiny Pokemon was, and that was awesome. So yes, that is my first shiny Pokemon.
My first encounter, huh? Well, I guess we'd have to go back all the way to the times of Fire Red and Leaf Green. I was doing my first ever Nuzlocke that I can recollect, I think it was, and I was just going through Rock Tunnel, just made it through, and I was tired, and I went to the Pokemon Center, and I was like, you know what, let's try to get to this Erica chick, because I just wanted to get through the game, right? And I saw that there were like 20 trainers ahead of me. I was like, you know what, I'm not about this grinding life, I'm just gonna cut through the grass real quick. So I used my Bulbasaur, or my Ivysaur, to cut through the grass, and then as I walked through the patch of grass, I just found myself a beautiful, shiny Growlithe. I was like, oh my god! And I was like, yes, this is my first shiny ever, and it's my first encounter. This is the best luck ever. And as I prepared to put this Growlithe to sleep, I was roared away, and my life was forever ruined.
Hey everyone, Razzbowski here, and the very first shiny Pokemon that I ever encountered, guys, is a Boldor. Yes, guys, Boldor was the very first shiny Pokemon I ever encountered. Now, if any of you guys out there know about me and about my career in Pokemon, if you will, then I've been playing Pokemon since Generation 1. I'm a Gen 1er all the way, ladies and gentlemen. Been playing through since Red and Blue. I played every single game, every single generation, all the way up until Black and White 2. It was not until Black and White 2, early 2013, that I finally encountered my first wild shiny Pokemon, and it was a Boldor. I literally lost my shit. I was just going through some random cave, I was just doing a little bit of grinding, and I was coming up against a load of Boldors, and this Boldor appeared. I had never seen a shiny Pokemon in the wild. I had no idea what would even happen, and there it was. This Pokemon just had a weird look about it. I was like, what's up with this Boldor? Why does this Boldor look weird as shit? So, I had a look at it, and I went, could this be? Dear Lord, Arceus up in the sky, could this actually be my first shiny? And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that Boldor, who I named Rocksteady after the guy in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Rocksteady was my very first shiny Pokemon, and I've still got that little bastard. He was the first Pokemon that I traded over into Pokebank and to bring onto Pokemon X and Y. I just love that little guy. He will always hold a special place in my heart. Little Rocksteady is the very first shiny Pokemon that I ever encountered. Not long after that, I actually encountered a shiny Kyurem when you went to that part in the game, which was a bit insane, because again, I was like, Kyurem, what the fuck's up with your sprite? It was just crazy. I've just spent so many hours in these Pokemon games, and to finally, during Black and White 2, guys, which was only, what, a year and a bit ago, about a year and a half ago, that was the very first time I encountered a wild shiny Pokemon, which was just insane, and I was so happy about it, and I just I can't really express the amount of glee that I had when I encountered that shiny little bastard. I went straight onto the Game FAQ forums, and I wanted to trade that into a Gigalith and get that shiny Gigalith, and it was just so gorgeous. I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this little short tale about me and my love affair for all things hard. And, hey, you know a little bit more about me. Either way, guys, I've been Razzbowski, and you've been beautiful bastards for listening. I love ya.
Hey guys, this is TiamatRuler, and I guess the question today is, what was your first shiny? And my very first shiny was actually in the very first game I ever played, which was Crystal. And at the time, I was too young to really know how rare shinies were. I just had fun playing the game, but I was old enough to know that it was different, that it was special because it wasn't the same color. And so I remember going through Route 35, which is a route between the bug catching contest and Goldenrod, and just going into that grass there, kind of training a little bit, looking to see what they had there. I was the kind of person, I always have been, my first playthroughs of Pokemon games, even since the very first one I played, to catch one of everything I saw. So, I mean, I was doing that, I was going through there, making sure I didn't miss anything, and then up pops a blue Nidoran male. And I was like, this is weird, this is supposed to be the color of the Nidoran female. This definitely is something weird here. So, I went and caught it because it was, I mean, it wasn't purple, it was blue. And so I caught it, and I was kind of excited because I knew there had to be something special about it because it was a different color. But I didn't realize how rare it was to actually find one. And so that's pretty cool. I look back on that now and think it's really cool to know that I found a shiny in my first game. Unfortunately, my stepsister did decide that she wanted to play her own game on there. So she went and deleted my file and started her own game. So I lost the Nidoran male, the shiny Nidoran male. I don't have it anymore. I don't have it as proof or anything like that. I have the game still, but I don't have a shiny Nidoran male anymore on there, which is unfortunate. I would love to be able to look back and see the Nidoran male that I had caught that was blue. Blue's one of my favorite colors, so that was really cool. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I look back at it now still and think that it was really cool to find a shiny in my first game. So that's my story about my first shiny. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace.